Right, you were saying your kids had baseball yesterday. The heat was just intense.
92 at 10:30 in the morning when we were in RB. It was just so hot that we had to take breaks and water breaks and just to keep the kids cool and stay in the shade, really.
Very important. Those are all the key messages with the heat advisory and excessive heat warning that are now taking effect, because if you can believe it, it is going to get hotter across San Diego County today and tomorrow. Before we start a cool down, we really won't feel that cool down until closer to the end of the week. So really, first half of the week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, expect to feel that heat day in and day out. And then close to Thursday, Friday, we'll start to notice a more substantial cool down. But taking breaks, making sure you have plenty of water with you. Where are you going to find AC if you need it? All important thoughts to have as you head outside. If you can, limit your outdoor activity to the early morning and late night hours. That way you're avoiding peak heat hours. Also, make sure you have a place to keep the pets. If they can stay inside, that's ideal. Otherwise, they need to have a shady place with plenty of water. And make sure to check on the neighbors and not be leaving the kids anywhere either. Okay, so let's take a look at what your conditions look like as we step out the door here at 5:20. Temperatures are mostly in the 60s. If you expected to keep those windows open and maybe cool yourself down in the overnight hours, the coolest you're going to get is maybe 66 degrees along our coastline. Still not all that cool. 61 for Oceanside, 67 for Escondido, and 68 right now in Poway. Not much of a cool down at all in Poway. Nearly 70 degrees is where they're at. Heat advisory and excessive heat warning are both in play from 10 a.m. all the way through 8 p.m. on Tuesday. Now, although these expire at 8 p.m. on Tuesday, Wednesday is still going to be a pretty warm day. Areas in pink toward your inland valleys looking at a range of about 95 degrees to about 102 degrees. Across the mountains, we're right around the mid-90s, 95 degrees or so. And then for the deserts, 110 to 120 is primarily the range that we are looking at. So another very hot day, not only today, but also tomorrow, Tuesday, and then we'll start to cool down beyond that. All thanks to this ridge of high pressure. This ridge is building over the southwestern U.S. As it pushes off to the east, we'll start to see a trough of low pressure dig in and take its place. This trough is really going to help encourage a gradual temperature cool down through the end of the week. The setup right now shows Friday at about noon, and we've got a bit of monsoonal moisture just off to the east of us. That could send a few showers, maybe a quick moving thunderstorm off toward our mountains, but primarily what this trend is going to do as that ridge moves off to the east and this trough sinks in is we're going to start to see those temperatures drop, and that's going to be the reason why we'll see that excessive heat warning and heat advisory both expire. So here's what your temperatures look like this afternoon. Coastline is incredibly mild, 83 in Oceanside, 77 in Del Mar, 83 in San Diego. You move inland, widespread 90s, 90 for Miramar, 95 for Poway, Ramona 102 this afternoon, mountains climbing to the 90s as well, with Campo in the triple digits at 102 as well. Day-to-day temperature cool down comes toward the end of this week. Cloud cover is going to join us daily, but marine layer is really not all that dense this morning, so we do have some pretty comfortable, nice skies as we kick off the morning. Back to the 70s by the end of the week, back to the 80s inland. Mountains and deserts will also see that gradual cool down to the 80s, and then back to the 90s possibly for the deserts as we drop down from 115 down to 99 by this upcoming weekend. Eric?